Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Market Check. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about all things markets, crypto, and stocks. Yeah, guys, let's go ahead and start with the elephant in the room, which is that stocks have, they've really rallied off of the back of, whether it's the, the pause rally, whether it is a result of, the QRA meeting or yesterday morning that pretty much caused a persistent bid throughout the day. It's pretty definitive at this point that, stocks have surged off the low. I think the question we're all wondering, right, is this going to be the start of the Christmas rally, right? Or are we going to be, forming a higher time frame shoulder here as we have off the other moves from the low? Let's see, right? I feel like this one so far has been, very powerful. So, FOMC out of the way, we're going to see how the market continues to digest this move. Crypto, we are getting a bit of a pullback on Bitcoin. We're going to discuss later today, probably, whether this is going to continue lower or whether or not this could revisit those highs. I know a topic of hot conversation, not just on this show, but also on CT, has been whether or not Ethereum is going to potentially catch that, that catch-up bid, right? We've seen the bid on Solana dramatically yesterday, coming in all the way up to $46, $47. Not yet anything from Ethereum. So I'm going to hold out hope, or at least I'm going to cross my fingers that I think we can still see it. At the very least, that's something that I feel like a lot of us are, accustomed to seeing. Is that eventual rotation towards Ethereum before any tops, whether it's local or over a higher time frame. But let's go ahead and get into it, guys. What are we seeing in the markets this morning?
Well, I had to change my avatar because Max made me, but we went with something better this time.
I told this man I cannot spend one more second looking at his effing Caroline Ellison picture, man. It's distracting. It's nauseating. I'm done with it, man. I'm done with it. Now we get the alien. Just can't do it anymore. Tucker, I don't know if I like the super sniper there, man.
Look at that, man. I don't
know, man. It's a little scary for me.
It's a little dangerous.
It's calling for 0.0045% pullback.
That's okay.
Could be. I don't know.
I'm hoping
he's
that
just hit the trend again, man. It is what it is.
No, we're good. It's a false signal, man. It's a false signal.
I thought we were gonna get it last night. I thought we were gonna get the breakout above 1850. Honestly,
I kind of knew we wouldn't, man. I kind of knew we wouldn't. I went to bed, and I'm very, very long right now, and I went to bed and I said to myself, I'm gonna wake up a little disappointed. And then I woke up, and because I said I'd be a little disappointed, I wasn't as disappointed. I prepared myself for the low time frame rejection. It's always important to reason with yourself and to stay grounded. But I do think that the breakout is coming very, very soon. But I have a feeling they're going to churn it up here for, I would even say through the end of the week, probably the weekend maybe. I think it could be pushed out into next week. I think it could. But I think the important thing to note with what's happening right now, at least as it maintains, we are in vertical accumulation right now. I hope we're not doing that. That would be a little bit more.
This one would be unfortunate, because it does look similar. We bull chopped, we flushed, we ripped, we flushed.
Can you explain vertical accumulation for the audience, just so they can understand?
Of course I can. It's basically once you break out and you're sitting on top of support, there is definitely some sell pressure to try to push it back underneath the range high or support, which was just broken through. But on every attempt to push it back down, the previous low time frame low is being respected. And there's clear demand moving up. The bid continually moves up, chases price, and the lows continue to be respected. So if you look here on the low time frame, you can see just that. It typically forms like a C shape, because again, the bid keeps moving up to protect the previous lows, and the demand keeps pushing price higher, and eventually the sellers, which continually push things down upon every false breakout, become exhausted and we get an explosive move up. So this to me looks like that. It looks like vertical accumulation. The lows are being respected. And I still think that things look pretty good right here. I think Total 2 looks good. I think ETH looks good. I think Bitcoin just needs to look fine. Bitcoin just needs to hold up here. As long as Bitcoin just holds up here and ranges, then I think we can complete this potential vertical accumulation on ETH and we can see alts catching up. And also, furthermore, looking at the ETH BTC valuation, guys, yes, it's been a little bit scammy, and we kind of had a false breakout last night. But I will say I am encouraged by the swing fail that happened on ETH BTC, because I believe that when you swing fail, let's just zoom in a little bit, Tucker. Maybe we could look at like the 4 hour or something like that.
You don't want it zoomed out.
No, not too much. Good. Can you do me a favor and draw me a diagonal line from like the upper left? Maybe right there to the left, maybe a little bit more. One more high up to the left. Yeah, right there, all the way down. See, we had the swing fail yesterday, and that's ugly. But I will say I'm a little bit encouraged by the fact that we did the swing fail, and we just basically went back to range low here on the lower time frame. So yes, sellers are strong as we approach local range high, but they don't have enough oomph at this point to really propel us down expeditiously to new lows. So perhaps, again, we're seeing signs of seller exhaustion on both ETH USD and ETH BTC, but time will tell. Time will tell. That was certainly like a nasty rejection, but upon a nasty rejection like that for the bears, you'd want to see a little bit of follow through, and you'd want to see it quick. I think the fact that we did reject and we're just sitting here it's neutral more than anything. Oh, Tucker, what's that?
Yeah, see, we tapped 36, man. Wow.
I wanted to point out too, to kind of add to your thesis there, Max, and it's very similar to what Jack has said the other day, is we're seeing pullbacks, but we're not seeing follow-throughs, right? And follow-throughs are important, because if you're not seeing follow-throughs, you're essentially seeing fake outs. You're getting pulls into certain price liquidity zones, and they're ripping off of them. And then what it is they're taking price to a point of where price should go, but not actually hitting that point and twapping higher and higher and higher and forcing people into these markets. If you look at BTC's accumulation from basically 2020 going into 2021, that's also a great example of vertical accumulation that continued to get overly, I would say, let's say overly, but I would say that became, on the extreme side, right? And this is what causes these bull markets, is if you can get vertical accumulation to step up to a point to where price can start exceeding certain price zones, you can create a FOMO or a feeding frenzy, essentially, of retail that will come in and step in and put everything they got on the line to push this price higher.
Yeah, that's a great point. And one more thing, I want to just make an even better point, Will, is that this video does not have enough likes. All right, and that's the most important point. Guys, we got almost 30 people watching. We got 10 likes on this video. If you are watching it live right now, or perhaps maybe you're going to be watching this a few hours on the replay, please consider just taking one quick moment before we get too far into the stream. Hit that like button. It does absolute wonders for the channel. It really helps us grow. Thank you guys so much for always being here to support us, just as we are always here to support you guys. So please consider liking that video. Again, we got to make that robot at YouTube headquarters take a liking to us. And I think the robot is starting to grow on us a little bit, or we're starting to grow on the robot. So please hit that thumbs up button for us. It just takes one quick second. And furthermore, if you are new here, this is because Bitcoin, we are a global conglomerate, financial media conglomerate. And this is Market Check. We are live Monday through Friday, 10:45 to 10:50-ish when we start, a.m. Eastern time. Normal cast of characters. We are missing Jackus, but maybe he will join us later. We will see. But yeah, guys, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. We are here every single day, Monday through Friday. Thanks so much for the support. Tucker, back to you.
Where's Evan Casey, man? I need Evan in the chat, man.
He's busy longing everything right now. He's got to make his money back.
That actually might be true. That actually could be.
Probably is true, man.
Could be true at any given time.
At any given time.
given day,
On any
man.
given day.
On any given day, Evan Casey is long, excessively.
Oh man. Look, the biggest thing is too, and this is what you love to see, Max, is like you got your contenders who sit here and LARP macro the entire time, and now they like to come onto our spaces and talk shit in the comments, excuse my language and stuff like that. And I think it comes down to a lot of the time them being upset because they weren't able to actually know the direction of the market, right? And a lot of them were wrong on the position in the market and have been wrong and have been talking about, Bitcoin go to zero and yada yada. And it's these same people that claim they have lots and lots of Bitcoin, but you don't even know who they are because they're anonymous behind JPEGs.
Yeah. No, look, it's been a tough market to navigate, but I think the people that have found the most success have been the ones that just stick to the TA in this environment, because yes, there's a lot of relatively obvious high time frame macro indicators that are sort of flashing risk off or flashing recession, but it's so hard to use those high time frame, indicators. And I don't mean indicator like RSI. I mean more like, the yield curve being, very, very inverted. Seeing capitulation in bonds, things like that a lot of these macro guys are looking at. It's so hard to actually place any actionable bets off of narration to something that's so slow moving. So I think, again, the guys that have really been doing well, or at least being on the right side of things in this difficult environment, have been the guys that have just been sticking to the levels, and just attempting to trade the levels as best as they possibly can. So, that's where I'm going to remain, is just trying to just increase my holdings and just stay on the right side and just stick with the TA. And I think it's important to recognize a lot of those indicators because something big is coming, it's brewing. But again, I don't think it's super actionable. And that's an important distinction to make is, yes, it's good information. Yes, it's good to talk about and debate. Yes, we should acknowledge it. We're learning something, but how can I make money off of it? How can I make money off of it?
That's always the most important part of any conversation. How can I capitalize off the move, right? And the thing is too is like I come on here and I try to say this daily, although I'm not saying it every minute, so it doesn't usually go through people's brains because I say it like once or twice every show. But the point is like a lot of people think like I'm a super bull and there's all these super bulls and everybody's super bullish and we're all hopium. The reality is like I think everybody here and everybody around me that I know is expecting some kind of recession, right? Like it's win, right? And if you're wrong on win, you're still wrong. That's the point that I like to point out to people, and this is the conversation I typically have in our spaces. It's like if you can't get the timing right, and I don't mean to the date, to the minute, to the hour. I mean you're a year later still saying there's a recession, the entire year. You missed the plot. You missed the entire move that you could have capitalized on before the recession, right? The recession that you saw coming. And so because you can look at something and say something is coming and it happens 5-10 years later, doesn't make you a guru.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. But speaking of where price is going, Tucker, what are you seeing here, man?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just started looking at Maker. It got a little messy pretty quickly, but
it is so terrible to trade on leverage, man.
I know. We're kind of at a pretty key level. Just basic SR. We got the value area high right here. I mean, it's kind of now or never. And if we put on, the VWAP, I think if we do lose it, we probably come down to about 1200. Or we could stop at 1275. I don't know. There's downside targets, but I mean, it might be worth a punt. It's beaten down. If you lose like there, you could do something like that. 7R could be worth it. Could get stopped out pretty quickly too. So, I don't know. All these altcoins just depend on what depend on what Bitcoin's gonna do though. So
The DeFi token that's moving hard, at least from what I saw yesterday, was AAVE.
Aave.
Mm.
Oh man.
The one, the token with 1 million pronunciations.
Aave, Ave, Ave.
I think it's just Aave, guys. It's just Aave.
I just call it Ave.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Have they ever? We heard one of their founders speaking on it. There's got to be a video somewhere,
So
right?
it's not Ave like Dave without the D.
I like Ave. We could call it Ave.
You know,
Ave.
people maybe call it Ave.
Yeah, we could call it Ave. That's fine.
OMG breakout, guys. Look at that.
That actually is nice, man. And
No,
actually, that
it is,
to me, Tucker, I was looking at DOT yesterday, and that looks just like the DOT chart, but before the breakout. Like if you draw that same diagonal line on DOT,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could even go back
Yeah,
further. Right? I think I had it in log mode, maybe. I know Tommy doesn't like it, but in log mode, that diagonal line connects to the
Like up here.
Tom doesn't like it.
down to the left more. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, right there, right there. Yep.
Let me get rid of these.
Yeah. The other
That
thing
would-
I want. Oh, go ahead though. I don't
Like
mean-
there.
Yeah, I don't remember how I had it drawn, but yeah, I don't know. It was some that chart. I mean, this looks like the Wall Street cheat sheet, the most overused chart ever. That might have been it right there. Yeah, I think that was. I think you had it right the first time. We're seeing a lot of charts that look like this, you know, where they're springing off their lows, and you want to think that maybe they move higher from here, but it's hard to say. You know, it's hard to say. I don't really believe in DOT. No offense if you do. You know, I don't know a ton about it, but chart doesn't look terrible.
Yeah, no. The thing is like I've been running DOT strictly off the chart, right? Strictly off the chart. It's had a great accumulation range in a sense, or at least a hold on that support, and I think that it's going to bounce out this pretty hard. I did want to touch on something else too, because I've just kind of seen it going on, and it's a little bit away from price, but like, just so people are aware, like I have had some people like reach out to me and tell me this and that, and I think like when you look at individuals, everybody's going to have a different perspective on these markets, and everybody's going to have a different outlook, especially on the team, and that's actually the best part about the team in reality, right? If we didn't have different outlooks at different times, we would all be basically in a giant echo chamber, and that's not something you want from any team. So, like, there's been lots of people on the team that have just killed it over the past year, and we're going to be wrong and right from time to time. Like Tommy has absolutely nailed it on multiple moves. Tucker has too. Max has too. Max to me has done a really good job on just flipping when it's time to flip. For me, like I've just, I've stuck to the thesis. I haven't been right the entire time. I missed a couple moves, but I mean, overall, like our team is absolutely killing it. I just wanted to point that out to the audience. I mean, I don't know if people have gone back to the videos or looked at the stuff that we've been going over, but it's actually been pretty crazy.
Ozil, thank you so much. Absolutely unbelievable. Thank you. This is like your third one now, I'm pretty sure. Thank you so much. That's so kind to you. Thanks for supporting the channel, man. You are keeping the lights on here for Market Check, so thanks. Super cool of you. Greatly appreciated. Will, this guy Jock said that Will's outlook is very bullish on Polkadot. It's his biggest bag. Is that true, Will?
I don't know about it being my biggest bag, but I'm bullish on it. Yeah.
All right.
I think the dot ecosystem is very underrated. A lot of people here's the thing. Nobody wants to talk about it or look at it until it's hot. I want to buy it before it's hot. And I think DOT will catch a bid next cycle. I think we're going to see that all over again, the same old BS as we normally see. And people are going to learn, right? They're going to learn to either chase, or they're going to learn to accumulate and be ahead of the move, and then rotate that out once those moves start to come. I think L1s and L0s bid first next cycle. And so I want to be in the first things that bid. And then once those things bid, guess what? Boom. I am now good to jump into other things with it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I just pulled up my like old. This is like 2021 crypto list, basically. There's some funny names in here, man.
Hey, what's Blur up to these days? Has anyone checked on Blur?
Man, I don't even like to hear the name of that token.
Hang on, she's kind of moving, Tommy. She's
Where
moving.
we were trading it in here.
I
Are you
never
on
bought.
log?
Oh, I am on log. We were trading it in here. Yeah, I remember that wick. The upbit listing right here.
Immediate retrace. We knew it was over then.
Yeah. What did it come down to? 15 cents, man.
Brutal.
Is that
I
a
never
real wick?
got to do it, but I still think it. I still like your old thesis, Tommy. I don't know if you still hold it, but I'm curious. Do you still think there's going to be like a massive NFT bubble at some point in the near future?
I think we need to see ETH rip before I start thinking about an NFT bubble, because what usually happens when ETH rips is you'll see an initial decline in the price of NFTs because people will chase the ETH pump by selling their NFTs that aren't moving. And then you get the rotation into NFTs. So I would really want to see ETH USD rip. And if it does, then I think that kind of changes the possibility for NFTs to move a little bit harder. But I mean, you are seeing a few projects move kind of on their own, not all really all at once, but kind of each in spurts. Maybe it's just a hot ball of money effect right now. So you need a stickier liquidity, but you have seen Pudgy Penguins and, Miladies to a bit lesser of an extent, moving really strongly off their lows.
Yeah, no, for sure. No denying that. I don't know. The Penguins seem so expensive to me. I mean,
They do. They
seem
do. But
expensive.
their chart, man, their chart is just up and to the right forever.
It's a good project, like no doubt. It's just it seems expensive for me as a relatively inexperienced NFT investor. Like I know what I'm good at. I know what I need to lean on others for. NFTs are something that I feel somewhat comfortable with, but I definitely need to lean on others for. And it doesn't feel comfortable to take a big bet on something that's up and to the right like that in these conditions. Or maybe it's a good thing. I don't know.
The thing is, Max, is that's a good point, but I think the biggest takeaway for NFTs that a lot of people just don't, or at least don't grasp, especially when you look at something like Pudgy Penguins, it's like you always have to look at something. You have to be like, all right, what's my upside potential here versus elsewhere? And if that's the case, it's like, why do you invest in something where your upside potential is capped or potentially limited compared to, even a shitcoin NFT project that you can make exponentials on or multiple X's?
Look at the Pudgy chart, man. That's crazy.
I mean, the Pudgy chart is what it is, but I don't expect NFTs to catch that massive of an uptrend, if that makes sense. The only way I would see Pudgies as an investable asset at the current rate is if there was potential for Pudgies more or less to do something like Apes did, right? And if you believe that that's the case, then hey, they are a bid, right? But if you don't believe that that's the case, then why would you be investing in them?
Have we checked on apes recently?
I'm scared.
I think apes are fried forever, man.
No, they just actually swung up. Macy swung up. Macy swung up.
I don't know if that's really swinging up.
I mean, if that's the case, then you're talking about my ladies at the same time, because that thing hasn't really done shit.
Could you get a lady or could you get a person just coming into the space? They're new to crypto. They're asking what to buy. Do you think 30 to 50K for an ape is the bottom? I mean,
do you think there's a price on attention?
That's a swing up, brother. That's a swing up.
Do you think there's price on fame?
Do they have the fame though still?
I think they do.
They do, but is there okay? So the
You
easy
get what I'm
rebuttal
saying,
I'm going
right?
to say is no publicity is bad publicity, right?
Yes.
I think they're very well known, but at the same time, I think there's such a stigma attached to them right now, which in crypto maybe can be a good thing, right? Like the most battered and beaten down names typically rally the hardest, but they're also still very, very expensive, which I think you have to take into consideration.
Yeah, but look at their floor. We're sitting here talking about Pudgies, right? Look at the bid walls on something like Basie, and look at the bid walls on something like Pudgies. They're like night and day.
I mean, Pudgy's just up and to the right. Right.
So the title of today's show is The Pause Rally. Is it here? I want to talk about this, guys. I want to talk about this because equities are ripping face today. I did a little bit of positioning. I actually bought some call options and a few individual names. I don't know if I want to mention them on here yet, man. I think I'm gonna keep that just for the Discord. They've got the setup. If you're here from the Discord, you know the play. I'm pretty excited about it, actually. I just put it in my active positions channel. I'm very excited about this one. I'm very excited, but I'm not quite ready to talk about it on YouTube. I'll tell you what. But what I've been preaching for like 6 weeks now, I've got it documented. I've got a YouTube video on it, is the bullish case for equities, which would be a very aggressive dip into FOMC before the official Fed pause. Now, for those that tune in on a regular basis, forgive me for the redundancy because you've heard this 1,000 times, but now that it's potentially materializing, I think we should go over it once more. So typically what we see going into the FOMC, the FOMC that we end up pausing at, we typically get a very aggressive sell-off, which we have just gotten. You know, I think S&P 500 was down over 10%, or maybe about 10%. NASDAQ not down quite as much, but nonetheless still down and bruised and battered for sure. So we got that. Okay, we got the aggressive sell-off. We got the fudding into the lows. Everybody thinks it's completely over. The recession is here. All the macro guys are like literally freaking out. You know, their heads are literally blowing off their bodies. They're so excited about the recession. It's finally here. And, you know, you have to read between the lines, right? The Fed didn't say we are officially pausing, right? They were actually like talking about, are we going to have to hike again? I think I heard that. So you have to read between the lines and you have to look at the probabilities, because they're not going to come out and officially say we are done hiking interest rates. They're just going to skip and they're just going to not raise again. And now we've had multiple skips in a row. And in my opinion, like I've said numerous times now, multiple skips in a row equals a Fed pause. And you look at the probabilities on what the market is pricing in, it lines up. They should be done hiking interest rates. There's no reason to hike further as we're here. So again, we got the stars aligning how they needed to. We got the aggressive sell-off into FOMC. We got, in my opinion, the official Fed pause. And now the day following, we're getting a rally out of it. What do I see from here? I like that green box that Tucker has drawn. I think it's possible that, you know, and just to be clear, you haven't missed the move, right? Like we're still very, very far off of the highs. Okay, we're still 8% off the highs, and we don't even have a confirmed breakout yet. Okay, we've got a nice spring off of a very aggressive sell-off, but we don't have a confirmed breakout yet. And I'm actually leaning towards there being some sort of, you know, consolidation period that maybe goes, you know, through tomorrow and then early next week. And then you get the opportunity to scoop up some assets or maybe just long the indexes for the Fed pause rally, which could potentially take us to all-time highs or close to all-time highs. I don't think that anybody should rule that out, just based on what we've talked about before. We've gone through all the examples of a Fed pause and what can happen. So again, I think that you have some time here. You can afford to be patient because we're still very far off of the lows. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this chart and I'm thinking it lined up perfectly. I mean, the amount of fear and fudding that went into this at the lows. Now, in my opinion, the NASDAQ basically has reacceptance back into a range. Actually, let me see if I can share here. It wasn't letting me do it earlier. There we go. I'm actually gonna share this real quick here. I'm gonna pull a Tommy. This is the NASDAQ range. that I'm keeping my eyes on right here. And we were talking about this going into these lows right here. I said, if we can reclaim this range low, look for something like this. All right. And we might not even get the range low. I mean, it could literally just be, we've got a really nice daily block right here. It could literally just be right here. This could be your move that happens, sometime next week, you get that drop, and then you start grinding up and you move towards range highs. Keep an eye out for something like this. We got the Fed pause right in here, right at the lows. What a coincidence, right? What a coincidence. For equities, I'm looking for something like this, just for the indexes, right? Like I'm playing some individual names and, whatever, but I'm looking for something like this. We got that same daily block right here that we flipped. This is a very important level, guys. This level should not be understated or overlooked. And I think that maybe you get this pullback into here, 42.70, give or take. And then I think you start looking for a breakout, okay? And you can look for something like this. You want to see this breakout, but in my opinion, you either want to see, actually, let me delete this. You either want to see this up above and then we drop aggressively. That would probably be ideal in my opinion. Like we break out and then destroy the late longers, and then you can long down here. That would be ideal in my opinion. Or we reject from here and slowly bleed down. You could try to do it right here and then play the breakout and then maybe look for a compound if we drop that way. But yeah, either way, like we're getting into this area. This is like the shove spot. We're getting pretty close somewhere in here. Like this is a good area. This is a very good area. And you've got clear invalidation where, you really shouldn't dip too deep below this block. You could maybe wick. I would allow for a wick. You could do, something like this, like a little sweep. But this is your level, guys. This is your level. This is what we've been waiting for. But this is not the area to long. Like this is pretty clear resistance. And I think you ought to respect the technicals here. Again, just respect the technicals. If you caught it down here, awesome work. Awesome work. But we're definitely approaching a sticky level. So, my opinion, you either wait for the breakout and then retest, or you wait to try to long it if we stay within this, and then we start moving up. But yeah, man, I mean, Fed pause rally. I think it is here. I think it is here. I don't know if there's another way to put it. So I like it.
Well, I'm just playing around here, playing around with some fun stuff.
I'll go back to me here. I also think this is a good level with Bitcoin also right here. This is kind of our normie little breakout here, and we're coming back to retest. Like this is a solid level, at least for now. If we can hold this, I think that looks pretty good. So, maybe we go deeper. Like I could see, I could see a sweep of the weekly open. I could see something like this on Bitcoin, guys. Like, right here, everybody gets super bearish on this trend line retest, and then you could try to long it like this, something like this. And I think we could go up here to 38. Reason being is if you go to the weekly time frame, I think this should basically be backfilled. Or let me see, 3-day. Yeah, I like the idea of this inefficiency getting filled in, going all the way back here. Like I like the idea of this level getting tagged, pushed right up against all this. I like this. I like it a lot. Let's drag it over. So I think we could come back on the higher time frames and do something like this. Let's go to like the 3 hour. I could see something like this. Like everybody gets really bearish into this low right here. Like we sweep the weekly open, everybody goes, oh my gosh, the weekly just got swept. Like the Bitcoin weekly candle is now red, and then, we just start moving up like aggressively like this. But I actually, it is my base case that we just sort of range and establish value, and we do something like the previous two ranges right here, where, I don't know what it will look like, right? But it won't look like this, but just to provide, a certain degree of, a visual, I think I could see something like this. And I don't know, maybe we don't go this low, maybe it's 33.5, maybe we go to 40, or I don't know. But I think that we're going to range and establish value up here, then I think altcoins will catch up. But just talking lower time frames, like what could I see in the short term? I think this would be a nice play. I really do. Just because it's tight in validation, and you're also seeing all these lows being respected, like we are maybe in vertical accumulation again. So you have, low. These were kind of swept, right? But we're still holding structure pretty well. So I like it here. I do like it here. I like the pullback. I like the fear. I like that equities are ripping. I do think that things still look pretty good. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, this could be good on ETH too. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just looking at
Somehow you just triggered my Siri.
I know I heard some woman speaking.
It's funny. I don't know. I don't even know how you did that.
Look at this. Look at this. This is just a bunch of. This is the whole thing. This is the 12 and 21. This is a VWAP thing, all just on the 4 hour, like coming right into it right now, right? So It would be nice for this to hold. We have the order block there. That would be nice too, but it is kind of a big level, right? It is kind of a big level right here. You wouldn't really want to see it lost, but I think you're right on the punt of a long, honestly. Even from like right here, you could even. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good, but I like the triangle you had drawn. Also, there's just oh no, this is all.
Oh no.
Oh no, where are my folders? Hang on there.
What do you guys think about that 4,300 SPY?
Right there.
Yeah, it looks nice, Will.
Yeah, good punt.
I think there's a chance we could hold up here. It's a pretty aggressive sell-off, but again, it's just basically more of what we've been seeing consistently, which is breakout traders getting destroyed before the real breakout. So I think as long as these lows, remain respected and we don't see like 33K from right here, then I think things should be just fine. But I mean, it's definitely like a little nasty sell-off here. I'm curious what the OI looks like on the lower time frames, Tucker.
I mean, if it's
the breakout and now they're just closing, kind of looks like that. You might need to go lower than that, maybe like the
24-minute, something like that.
Yeah. It looks like there's definitely some OI climb going into that breakout or attempted breakout, and now they're just puking. So
yeah,
looks like we've largely reset.
Yeah, all this has been reset. But I mean, this whole range hasn't really moved a whole lot. I don't think. I mean, I know Coinalyze is sometimes different, but I guess we started the range up here. Now we're here, higher price, so
check price, good price.
Check price, good price. Huh?
What does funding look like?
I don't know. Hang on. Let's see.
What do the likes look like right now? Okay, 23 likes. Guys, we got 40 people watching. If you guys could just please take one quick moment, hit that thumbs up button for us. It does wonders for the channel. It does wonders for the show. Let's see if we can run this up to 30 likes real quick, guys. We got 40 people watching, a lot of new people. 7 likes away. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for being here as always. And just a reminder, this is Market Check brought to you by Because Bitcoin. We do this show every weekday, Monday through Friday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern time with your normal cast here, plus Jackus, who was not able to make it today. But yeah, guys, if you could just take one quick moment, help us grow the channel, help us grow the show, and make that robot at YouTube headquarters take a liking to us. Hit that thumbs up button for us. Again, thanks so much for the support, guys.
Yeah, guys, it's it's longs closing. Funding is pretty positive, but it's dropping pretty aggressively right now. So, and OI is dropping. So I'm gonna guess it's longs getting shreked probably.
So everybody longed 1860 on ETH and 36K on Bitcoin.
Everybody longed up here.
47 on Sol.
Longs don't get Shrek. Only shorts do.
Well, these guys got shreked, so
They got shreked. Yeah, they got shreked. What's going to be even worse is now they're going to short right here, and then they're going to get shreked when we run the highs again.
You got to take out the 100xers. That's all it is. The 50xers and the 20xers. You got to take all those guys out.
They should be just about ready to tap out at this point.
Yeah, I would think so.
And that's perfectly acceptable for that to happen. Just saying, like, and that's me being long. Like, I'm perfectly okay with those guys getting taken out because they have no common sense when it comes to trading.
Tommy, what are you seeing
with Bitcoin?
Tommy, you got any charts for us, man? I miss your charts.
No, I mean, I'll be honest. I really haven't been charting Bitcoin that heavily. I will say I did have one with Bitcoin coming into 34K last night. So I think we can still come into that level before I expect to bounce. But I've been saying I want to see the premium on Bybit get closed before I look for longs on Bitcoin.
Yeah. What if they never get closed?
If Bybit wins, man, then it's a truly new paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
parabola?
Do you think it's fair to assume that Bybit, being a fade, doesn't have as much signal as it used to because once they basically made it impossible for all the U.S. apes to trade there, maybe the fade signal is elsewhere now because they lost so much of their user base?
Well, no, because the biggest, like, they lost U.S. customers, which bring dollars, right? But their biggest customers are Asia, man. That's what a lot of people are fading. They're literally fading Asia. They, like, Binance owns the Asian market essentially.
Yeah, I don't know if I think the signal on Bybit has lessened. I will say one thing I've kind of noticed: we're finally seeing some signal from DYDX. Like when altcoin funding on DYDX gets super overheated, it's a decent sign that you're going to see some downside locally.
It was bad. It was bad last night on ETH. It was kind of wild. It was like
because it's almost kind of nice when you're a bull to see that funding on DYDX because it's like it mentally prevents. Sorry for interrupting you, Tucker. I was just gonna say it's almost like it mentally prevents you from wanting to long because you know the funding that you're going to have to pay is so steep, but it's now also turning into an actionable signal.
No, yeah, you didn't interrupt at all. No, it was this up here. I was watching the funding and it was just flying above 1850 and I was like, oh no. Oh dear. Yeah, because I was hoping we were going to break it, right? I was hoping we were going to break out, but when we started getting this moving, funding went to like 200% on DYDX in like 20 minutes. I was like, it's over. I didn't touch it though. I should have shorted it, but it is.
Did you say it's October?
Not anymore. It was. It was.
Is it Upvember?
Upvember?
Is it November? Yeah.
It's Moonvember. Yeah. Moonvember.
Oh, Moonvember. Got it. Okay. My bad.
Yeah, Moonvember is a good one, man.
That.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I think we have a decent chance of holding here. I really do. One chart I've been really focused on has been Total 2, which is why I've had a relatively bullish bias for Yeah, I mean that's clear vertical accumulation. That was on the lower time frame.
Yeah.
But see, for those that don't know
Look at that.
what total two is, it's just basically the total crypto market cap less Bitcoin. And it looks, I mean, that's pretty wild, man. That's pretty clear vertical accumulation. I suppose it's possible, that we see it drop, but it looks like vertical accumulation. And I think that the context is key. Could you draw a diagonal line from that high, Tucker? The one
I see what you're
right there all the way. Yeah, let's just draw it out.
Here?
So I think the context of where the vertical accumulation is happening is very important. And that's why I think it's unlikely that we just see like a nuke from here or like a rug, where you saw Bitcoin lead off of that low. You saw Bitcoin rip from 25 to 35 in a short period of time, leaving altcoins largely in the dust, besides like Solana and then some on-chain stuff. So if we're looking at total two and saying, all right, well, what do we know about the crypto market and how things typically flow? Bitcoin will often lead off of the low, and that will spark people to try to chase some beta and then throw money at altcoins after, as long as Bitcoin can hold a breakout. So now Bitcoin is, in my opinion, holding a breakout, looking pretty good. And we're seeing total two, which is basically the altcoin index, breaking out of this diagonal trend line, appears to be committing vertical accumulation, committing the crime of vertical accumulation. So again, I think that the context is very key. For those that are bearish altcoins here, I say, well, how can you be overly bearish altcoins when the altcoin index looks like this and ETH hasn't even really broken out yet? So
it looks like this a little bit. Let me just,
invert that. Yeah.
This is the inverse of vertical accumulation, right? And then it just continues. So I took it and I flipped it, Not a crazy target.
That's a real masseuse, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think you were looking for like 700 something. That would be.
Yeah, I'm looking for about 700 billion, which would basically be range high. Like if you just drew the simplest range, like if you zoomed out and you just drew like a range from where we are at, you can see the range low and range high.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, give or take, you could maybe count that deviation. You don't have to, right? But see, I would call that the range low right there. Yeah. Exactly. We're just in a range. We're just hanging out in a range. We held monthly demand, which is why we didn't go back down to range low. There's a monthly order block, right at range low. So, yeah, I mean, I think we probably visit pretty close to 700 billion. And if we get a breakout from here, then we're talking about 850 to 900 billion. But for that to happen, keep in mind that Ethereum makes up about 2/5 of the total two market cap right here. So what you're looking at, 2/5 of this is Ethereum. So in order to see a real breakout here, you're going to have to see ETH USD probably break out above 2K and start moving towards like 2,500. But again, we know that the best time historically to buy Ethereum is in December. So we might be a little bit early on something like that. But in the meantime, I don't think it would be impossible to see range highs on total two get tagged. So maybe we go to 700 billion. And then we see a range breakout December, January, February, which we know has been like the best 60 to 90 day ROI to purchase Ethereum, has been very end of Q4 leading into Q1. And then maybe we see an actual range breakout. So.
Yeah. I mean, the absolute best time to buy ETH is in January of the post-halving year. But
I would say this too. Could we look at Bitcoin 2020 going to 2021? I just want to look at that because that was true vertical accumulation at its peak, and it was the same thing going into 17 and so on and so forth. Like you have to understand that vertical accumulation doesn't have to stop vertically accumulating; it can just keep rolling. And I'm not talking about pre-COVID. I'm talking about after COVID. We then went into actual vertical accumulation and continued to accumulate. And if you were to take out that COVID dip, I think that accumulation that started occurring prior to that would have just continued, and that upside could have been exponential outside of that dip. If you were to line that dip up with the high end range of where we actually started to dip, you went up in exponentials on Bitcoin and then double topped on those exponentials.
Yeah, I've done this before. Like you take it from like here, you take out that. You basically like copy and paste this over to like here. I mean, it would take you a little bit higher, but I don't know.
I would have thought that like it wouldn't have really trailed sideways, even taking that out. It would have just continued to accumulate up.
It probably would have like just done that, right? It would have probably happened sooner, maybe.
Yep.
But
Yeah. And ultimately your high could have been a lot higher.
well, okay,
Without that hit.
that's a good point because I don't think we would have had the money and the stimulus and the liquidity if we didn't have COVID, right? That's a
Mhm.
contentious point, right? So
It is, and that's always the play, right? But ultimately, we did see degradation on this past cycle, whether it was a double top or not, and in comparison to previous cycles.
yeah. Well, this was all Sam, right? this was
Sam
literally
left us with one final treat.
this was
But there's-
Sam and Caroline.
3 AC.
Yeah, but there's always
Yeah.
a Sam,
Yeah,
Right.
three.
there's always a Sam. There's always something that happens. I mean, you had what was it called? What was Mount Gox, right? You had Mount Gox, you had Sam. Like, there's always something that happens every cycle where somebody's trying to come in, be a bad actor, be a criminal, and then goes to jail and gets in trouble.
This is true.
Hey, can we move over? I was looking at some charts this morning just because now with equity indexes doing what they're doing, I'm looking to play some individual names. Can we go take a look at Rivian? This was a name that we played really
Oh, yeah.
well over the
That
year.
was a fun one. This
Rivian came right back into my previous range high for a retest, man. See that? See the
Did we hit
previous
the
off that
1650 or
range
what did we hit?
breakout, and then look at that retest that we just had.
Oh yeah, let me make that a little look at that.
I'm just saying that's like textbook right there.
Yeah.
Textbook filled in all the inefficiencies, came back to retest previous demand. Could be.
Will, we caught this. You remember this?
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
Oh, that was
It filled the gap, right? There's a gap there, I think, on a daily or something like that.
yeah, it filled all that.
Yep.
All that.
That was exactly what I was looking for a re-entry, was the gap fill.
But we got it, Will. I mean, you got to like how this looks, right?
Yeah, I'll probably re-enter that probably today. That looks good for upside.
Yeah,
I've been listening.
I was going through my entire watch list, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, round 2, baby!"
Oh man, Lucid.
Where did that? What do we got there?
Up 10%.
Yeah, that's what I said. $4, you lose it, you're fucked, and it bounced.
Yeah, it hit 399 and bounced.
Holy shit, man! I was literally about to lose it if I would have been deeper.
Dude,
I was hovering the sell button and it went back above 399. I was like, okay. I was like, I'll just hold it.
how are you guys not buying this back with me right now? Come on now. Come on. It's time.
I was
What's the
cutting.
15-minute destroyer look like though?
Look, I was
Good
buying
question.
at 470 and 420, and I was like, I'm not buying anymore if it goes lower.
Green on the daily. Come on now.
Never fade.
Never fade. We got to move up. We got to move up. Eventually, it'll get the bottom, even if you're longing the whole trend down. Eventually, you will get the bottom. Boom, 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 boom. It is what it is, boys. It is what it is. Raj Talari. Don't fade him. The CEO of Enovix.
Yeah, don't fade Raj.
Don't do it.
I'm
Hey,
curious. I might
Max.
want to put some options on Rivian, man, because if we start to really rip here, imagine playing some like Rivian, like end of Q1, like end of March 2024, like $20 strike on Rivian, and imagine if we go on to like $30 or something like
You might have to go high. You might have to go like
bro.
25s.
Look, we're going
If you're
higher than
taking that much
$30.
time.
I
Well, I know,
think
but I want him to be deep in the money. I want him to move if we just like. I don't really care. I don't care.
You want to profit out the move, not out.
If
not
you
out the
want to
stock.
go March, I'd go like 22 or 23, maybe actually. If you
Brother,
want them to get juiced.
Oh, dude, I want them to get juiced.
But Max, here's the thing.
Like, I'm looking at this little channel right here, boys, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking like, okay, man, like we might have just had a little deviation below to retest the previous demand. What's to stop us from doing this up here, man? So I buy some of these, man. Let's throw some end of March, and we'll throw the, even $20, man, the $20 strike, man. And we go up here. I mean, we're looking at something like this, through expiration. I mean, I'll be deep in the money, man. I bet my break even on them will be like $22. So if we're up here 27 to $30 towards expiration, forget about it, man. We're probably looking at a 5x on these at least.
Yeah,
Well,
those would be nice.
I think Lucid's gonna play catch up with Rivian. I really do. I
Think
think
so?
I think it lagged, and
It
because we're
didn't
back
move
above 4.
much. Here's
No,
the
yeah.
Lucid Rivian chart. Remember this?
I remember. I've got it pulled up right now too.
Yeah, we were looking for the rotation between Lucid and Rivian.
Maybe wait for it to come back above that trend line. You could probably do that.
Here's what I'm
catch the strength move.
Here's what I'm waiting for right here. Let's get a little breakout, man. Let's get a little breakout. That's all we need. It's a sloppy trend line, but we'll go with it.
You need it above 0.3, I would say.
Yeah.
If you zoom out. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if this ends up being a deviation right here,
It's gonna fly.
so this
Deviation, bruv.
a deviation, bro. So if this ends up being a deviation and we reclaim, oh baby, something like this. Oh my gosh, forget about it. Forget about it. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's some signal in this, right? Like we had a nice little bounce here, and then like, similar range high rejection like up here. Who knows? Maybe. Oh, I still got my old Lucid drawing saved. I cut this so long ago. Let's see. I mean, this is so battered right here, man. Just so battered. What's the market cap of this thing? 10 bill. All right. So let's look at this here, man. Lucid. I mean, this would be the area you want to see reclaimed right here, probably. You probably want to wait for this to get reclaimed first. Probably wait for like 4.5 cents to get reclaimed, and then you can look for some serious pop off that level. Like if this is all deviation right here, still a little scary buying it down here, in my opinion. Because if it does this pattern, man, and like this was the fake out right here, fake out, you'd see this. I mean, you'd see it break out like that. If everybody got trapped right here, that's how these work.
Yeah.
I'd probably wait for a reclaim though, because I want some invalidation. I want some invalidation. I don't want to just throw money at this right here.
What do we think of the long bond trade here, man? Tommy, Max, Will.
Hold on. What do we think of those likes? What do we think of those?
Think of the likes.
Yeah.
We're 1 like away from 30 likes, guys. Let's see if we can get us there. See if we can send us to 30 likes, boys. We got 37 people watching. We got 29 likes on the video. If you are enjoying the stream so far, please consider taking one quick moment, hitting that like button. It does wonders for us. We got there. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the continued support. Guys, look at the right side of my screen. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little small. Clean Spark up 4.8% today. Mara up 6% today. Riot up 5.7% today. Bitcoin miner stocks were all deep green across the board, and Bitcoin's down a bit. Do we think there's a possibility that Bitcoin miners are forecasting Bitcoin rallying from here, or just kind of?
I think they lag a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they popped when Bitcoin popped up to 34, 35K, but they retraced it all while Bitcoin was still hanging out above 34K. So I don't know. They trade a little bit strangely, but
what does coin look like?
Coin looks really good. I was looking at it this morning, actually.
Really?
Yeah, coin looks really good. Here, let's take a look at it. I had this drawn this morning. I haven't taken it. I was just, again, prospecting a bunch of stuff on my watch list. But coin looks juicy here, man. Really juicy. Like right here, man. This looks so good. Maybe we come back in, fill the gap a little bit. I think she looks good.
She does look good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks nice. I think it looks really nice. So it's like we're seeing Bitcoin miners starting to look good. We're seeing coins starting to look good. The question again is like, are they lagging a bunch or are they forecasting another move up? Don't know. Time will tell. But you were talking about yields here or bonds, right? Long end. Yeah. I think this is probably bottomed. And I mean, we're starting to see yields breaking down a little bit here. Like this is the 20-year. I'm looking at this and I think we'll at a minimum in the short term come back and retest this range high after the breakout. This is the 20-year yield again. And, maybe bounce. And then if we lose this, we'll come, then we're talking about coming down here. All right. But we won't get too far ahead of ourselves. So I think I'd be looking for this level first. I'd look for like 4.7% on the 20-year. And then from there, I think maybe take some profit or, look for something like this little bounce here, short that, we'll see.
You know what we should be using on TLT is the current.
Deep value down there, man. What's mean
value?
What's mean revert?
Exactly. Mean revert to like there.
Yeah, I mean, that would imply the 20-year probably down at like sub 4%, which if we are in a giant range, like if we're in this range right here, and we end up losing this range high and you come back underneath, then it's not uncommon to see symmetrical deviations. I know it's yields and I know everyone wants to say macro, you can't chart yields and macro, it dictates this and that and blah, blah, blah. Trust me, you can chart it. I promise you it works. If we lose this range high, this will take a long time, right? Like this could be through the end of 2024 even. I'm on the 2-day chart. This is May of 2024 over here. This could take a long time. But if we lose this range high right here, and this is all a deviation, well, then I'm telling you, I mean, we're probably going to come down here. And it could take, again, a long time. But if Tucker's talking about mean reversion and we're also trading a range here, I mean, look at this chart right here. I mean, mean reversion is, potentially.
That's the monthly. Yeah, that's the
Here's what's going to happen with that, though, Tucker, is as we spend more time underneath our mean line, the channel is going to start to readjust and shift downward. So if it takes a year to get there or a year and a half to start moving up and we're below the mean, this channel, by the time we get to the mean, will look entirely different. It will be probably facing downward or at least flatter. So that might be like 130 rather than 142.
Yeah.
Do you know what else would look different, Max? Those like buttons on the video.
Well, we're good on the likes, brother. We got 33. I can't pressure them too much. I can't pressure them too much. They've come through for us.
Yeah,
you got to come through. But maybe the subscribe button will. We could pressure the subscribe button, man. We got to apply some heat to the subscribe button. If you guys haven't yet, maybe you found us from Twitter, maybe you found us from Discord, but we're live every single day, so maybe consider subscribing to the channel as well. Yeah, Tucker, I look at this as deep value, brother. This is deep value.
Yeah. Let's see if it'll even pull up a, yeah.
Man, did that make all-time lows?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Invert the chart. It's at resistance.
I mean, it's in price discovery.
It's at resistance.
No, what do you mean? There's nothing here.
It's going to fall back below that top range.
I mean, that would be nice. I would love that, but mean revert to about $15.
Look, everything's going up. DXY is going up. Oil's going up. All the stocks are going up. Crypto's going up. Everything goes up together. All right.
DXY is going up. We haven't looked at that.
You're trolling right now. Will's not serious. No, I know Will's thesis enough to know he's messing around.
I mean, this is that imbalance in the monthly. Oh, wow. I didn't even realize there was going to be a current. CP3 from CP2 to CN1. No, CN2 to CP3. We're at the mean. Let's check the old 3-month. Give me something. Okay.
Oh, look at that, man. That's beautiful. I'd love to see DXY just nuke, man. Just nuke.
You know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see it rip and then Bitcoin rip up even harder. And then all the macro people come out and say how DXY is the thing. And it's like, well, it doesn't look like it's working too well.
You guys seen Solana? Tucker, pull up Solana on like the lower time frame.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Not good?
No.
Oh, no.
Hey, man, we called the top yesterday in the Discord.
We did.
This is getting to be that era. I might look for longs down here, honestly, man.
I think
might
it's a shoulder here.
Hmm?
I think it's going to form a shoulder here.
You don't call that a shoulder?
No, I think it's going to form another one.
Yeah, that looks a little rough.
Yes, it does.
But also, it's like we're still at $40, you know. We're still at $40 per $40, $40 US dollars for a Solana. Yeah, it's like it looks terrible, but it was also like at
Tucker,
$30.
That was your vertical accumulation right now.
I know.
Right?
I know. That's exactly what yeah. Yeah. That was vertical accumulation. Boom.
Now you're getting the retest of the range. And really, in reality, I think this thing kind of rips off of this.
You know how many charts of this? Deviation, bruv. Every chart on Twitter is going to say deviation, bruv.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to say a rejection at the high, and then they're going to call for downside. And
I think as long as Bitcoin holds this, guys, like as long as Bitcoin holds this level somewhere around here, like really doesn't go below 34.2, I'm just going to remain cautiously optimistic up here. You know, I think it's pretty clear. And I think Solana was due for a major pullback. Why would it not be? I mean, look what it did. Look what it did, man. You know, I wouldn't say that Solana's cooked, you know. It's just this is clearly a blow off top. You know, like this was clearly blow off top. Let the record show that Tommy literally sold up here, of course. So you can blame Tommy because he sold the top. But yeah, I mean, this is a blow off top, man. No question. So this little pullback, nothing, man. How about this? How about this, guys? How about
full Discord ate off that soul, man. I love to see it.
Yeah, they
Y'all
did.
gotta get in there if you're not already.
Beautifully said. And I actually think we're approaching over an hour here. So I think it's about that time that I bug you guys to join the Discord and we wrap things up. So guys, listen, here's the deal. We're going to call the show here. We got 44 people watching. All right, we're going to put a banner across the bottom of the stream right now. This code, TwitterBB, if used at checkout for the first link in the description of this stream below, will take you to our website, becausebitcoin.com/premium. This code, if you use it at checkout, will get you 30 days free in our Discord. We share all of our active positions channels, premium analysis, and we do over an hour per day of live private calls with our entire community. We get to talk with you guys, get to ask questions, and again, you get to see how we actually execute on all of our trades. And I put an absolute banger in mine today, playing an individual stock name that I think is going to be an absolute winner. I'm not talking about it on YouTube. I'm not quite ready to do that yet. But if you guys want to see how I'm trading, Tucker's trading, Will is trading, Snorlax is trading, Wabi is trading, Jackus is trading, hop in the Discord. You get 30 days for free. Again, it will not charge your card. You have 30 days to try it for free. Code TwitterBB across the bottom of the screen. The link to take you to that sign up is the first description right underneath where you're watching right now. Right at the top of the description, you'll see it. But guys, thanks so much for being here. Tommy, I'm going to pass it to you to take us out, brother.
Man, oh man, that was smooth, Max. I don't know how I'm going to be able to follow that, but echoing everything that Max just said. I mean, we got a panel of a bunch of traders who are able to do a lot of different things. So, I mean, we have something pretty much for everybody. But yeah, no, thanks for tuning in, guys. Happy Thursday. We are post FOMC, like we said at the start of the show. Let's see how the market continues to digest everything that we've seen this week. But we'll, of course, be back tomorrow for another episode. And make sure to tune in for our Spaces Market Check with our very own King Wabi throughout the week. Have a great rest of your day, guys.